Today, we're going to be looking under the hood of Dick's Sporting Goods SEO strategy and what they're doing with on-page, topical authority, and more to rank for keywords like kayak for sale, football cleats, and millions of more keywords. Their team has done an incredible job, and it's our turn to see what they're doing and look under the hood. Let's jump into the computer and look at Dick's Sporting Goods. So when I was first looking at this website, I was actually looking for a kayak. I searched kayak for sale, and Dick's popped up to the top of Google. And so that's how I found the website, and then I had to look at their SEO. Come on, guys, I'm an SEO guy. So we see a beautiful web page here. We have kayaks very simply at the top, and then we have some subcategories. It's nicely laid out, a lot of things. Now, when I first look at a page, I always look at the header structure. We use SEO meta in one click, and it will just in one click show you a lot of SEO information that Google is seriously looking at. First, you have the title tag, very simple, and then you have a meta description, very simple. But more importantly is if you go over here to the headers, you can see a very simple, straightforward header structure. You have an H1 with kayaks, then you have an H2 with learn more about kayaks and various information. I always look at that to make sure that they have their structure right and that things are understandable and easy for Google. After that, we can see something very amazing that people overlook a lot of the times, which is their subcategory links. This is extremely important. So we have paddles, fishing kayaks, inflatable kayaks, sit-in kayaks, all of these different types of kayaks that a user might be interested in. And these are all separate pages that can rank on Google. And so what they did is, they looked at something like Semrush. You can see tons of traffic here, and they may have searched something along the lines of kayaks. And then they found all the keywords related to kayaks that they sell. So you can see fishing kayaks, inflatable kayaks, foldable kayak, all kinds of stuff. And if we see here, fishing kayak, inflatable kayaks, and then sit-in kayaks and sit on top kayaks, very important, different distinctions. There's definitely some keywords for those. Now, these subcategories are great because if you click on one of these, you can rank this individual page. But even more so than that, did they create what I call topical authority? And I don't call it Corey, all these other famous SEO people really made up this topic. But I think this is unique in e-com, which is that you have a subtype of the product. So you have inflatable or you have blue, red, whatever it may be. And then you have these subcategories that really filter down. They give Google a very easy page to rank with just the products that the client may want. And then they have a breadcrumb that links back up to that original page, kayaks. So this creates a link wheel, and you can go back and forth between these, and it connects all the different sub pages to each other. And now this one's kind of interesting because it does have a different breadcrumb, fishing boats and kayaks. I would say that's, not the best strategy there. You would have to be careful there. But I imagine if you go to most of these, they actually go up to kayaks. This also has two breadcrumbs here, which is a little bit weird, but overall, very nice structure. It allows this topical authority to really be expressed and have the links to all the subtabs. So that's really one of the first things that we look at, is that we see that they built out their overall silo and structure for kayaks pretty solidly. Now let's go down and just look a little bit more of what's happening on this page. So we have the products, right? So we have only at Dick's, we have all kinds of stuff here. We have find your kayak. So they're doing a lot of cool stuff. That's an internal link. We have a link to another category on LifeVest. So they link over there to relevant products. All of that's nice. But if we really scroll down all the way, and I'll just share that I was scrolling down here, we can go and we can see this learn more about kayaks. Now, if you remember from the SEO meta in one click, we saw that learn more about kayaks was actually their H2. And so on this structure, this is the second most important to Google text on the page. Google really sees H1 as the top priority, H2 is the lower priority, and the keywords in here and the structure matter a lot. And so if we look at this, we can already see learn more about kayaks, and then we have accordions. And accordions are just drop downs that have content within them. So this is on-page SEO content where they're sticking keywords, SEO keywords, and internal links all over the place. So we can see they have inflatable kayaks, sitting, a lot of these subcategories they're linking here. The reason they're linking it both in the subcategory section as well as in the content SEO section is because Google prioritizes contextual links. So links within content are more powerful than links that are in modules. So something like a little subcategory reel. They get relevance from the text around them. You can choose the keywords. So maybe traditional kayaks is a keyword, something like that. And it probably is. And so they're trying to relate the sit-in kayaks with these additional little keywords. And of course, they're also linking additional ones like recreational kayak, two-person kayaks. So that'd be a tandem. Not sure if they actually linked that up here. They have tandem and recreational. Yeah, so all of that's linked in the subcategories. As you can see, lots of contents here on the selection of products. And then we have expert advice, which goes into deeper content, and then buyer's guide and goes into even more content. So really, once you look through this and then you have more internal links on featured categories, you really have a decent amount of content here. So, we probably have almost 700 words of content just in these accordions. And us SEO people love to hide the content in accordions like this, not disrupt the user. They want to read it, they can. But really, at the end of the day, it's mostly about getting in keywords, entities, and topics that Google wants to see on the page. Okay, fantastic. So we can see that they have a proper header structure. They're adding content at the bottom of the page with keywords. These are likely keywords they found from Semrush, Google Search Console, and other tools like Phrase, where they can find different keywords and entities Google is looking for. They popped all of those onto the page, and then they also added a lot of internal links towards the other pages that they're trying to rank. So they know that they want to rank for fishing kayaks, they want to rank for inflatable kayaks, all of that kind of stuff. Now let's look a little bit deeper at what else they're doing under the hood to try to push these rankings. So if we go to inflatable kayaks, and we scroll down a little bit more, we can see another section that wasn't present on the original kayaks one, which is Dick's Pro Tips. This is just a blog reel, so it just is a slider with blogs. You can see they have all the SEO content there with different brands as well, so that's kind of interesting. But here we have a blog reel, so types of kayaks to choose, kayak paddling, how to carry a kayak, all of this kind of stuff. And so if we click on types of kayaks to choose, this is a very standard e-com SEO type article where you link a bunch of, well, you pretty much make a types of or how to choose kayak, something like that. And then you link down to a lot of the subcategories. This is a great way to just distribute the link juice and the power and link to these pages. Now, if you're new to SEO, internal links from one page to another page of a website are very strong for increasing your rankings, very important in e-com SEO. So, off the bat, I love that they have a video that goes along with it. And then you can see tons of internal links. So you have sitting kayaks, sit on top kayaks. You have a touring kayak, which actually links to that main kayak page. You have fishing kayaks, and it's really just a succinct article going through the different types of kayaks and everything like that. And you can see you have, a decent header structure. And so if we go on touring kayak there, we can see we go back to this main page. And writing these articles will help you to really push that individual page. And we can see it looks like for the main page, they don't link to all the blogs, but on the sub pages, so like sit inside, they actually link to the blog itself. And then the blog normally links, I would imagine, to various pages, likely normally including the top level kayak page, but maybe not always. It doesn't look like this one links there too much. And so they're using this blog strategy to just write about different topics around kayaks and then link to the category page. Okay, let's pop over to Ahrefs and take a look at their backlinks on this kayaks page. We want to specifically go into this kayaks page so that we can see what links they're building. Because when you're in SEO, you want to build the links towards the page or to the supporting content. And so this is the easiest way to take a look at their strategy. So once you're in here, we can see there's 39 referring domains, 90 backlinks. You can go into the backlink report and just look at what they're building. Now, some of this is going to be natural and some of it is going to be manipulated or, they influenced that link. And usually you can notice this by the anchor text. So when I first look at this, I see touring kayak, I see kayaks, I see kayaks, I see kayaks, I see new kayak. So already I'm kind of seeing a pattern. Probably the ones they're building have kayak in them. Sometimes people do all kinds of strategies where they use a brand name and different things like that. But it's definitely more likely that this branded one is natural. And so if we jump into one of these, we can kind of see whether they're natural or whether they may have been intentionally built. And this one is really weird. I just took a look at it. They link to their own products, it looks like. So Canoes Plus, and then out of nowhere, they link to Dick's Sporting Goods touring kayak. They don't mention Dick's Sporting Goods. The first touring kayak one actually links to their products. So it definitely seems like Dick's probably just went to them and said, hey, add a link here. We'll pay you whatever it might be. Now that does go to a broken page, so that's not ideal, but definitely feels potentially created by them. And if we go a little bit further down, we have a couple other cool examples here. So if we jump open this one, this looks like a pretty standard kind of link building tactic. So if we scroll down and find where they're kayaks, so they're like kayaks, and then kayak canoes. See, when you look at this, you can kind of tell that most of the time they're linking to what looks like their own website, which makes sense for them. So all of that goes to Boats Geek. And then they're randomly linking to Dick's Sporting Goods to one of their kayak pages. So in ecom, I mean, this doesn't happen naturally very often. Most likely Dick is going to this website, asking them if we could do a sponsorship or something like that, and then linking to the right page. This is pretty common practice, and as you can see, it's working for them. It looks like the Hayaks anchor text here is actually contributing pretty well to them. This is a pretty standard backyard type website. Usually they use backlinks like this, kayaks, as a way to make money with their website. So already we can see that they're doing traditional backlink building, which is really just paying people to mention your brand and link to it. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, but really it's a great case study to just show traditional SEO. What you want to do is you want to build up your brand. Luckily, they have a huge brand already. And then you want to build up your on page and your internal linking and your supporting content, and then send some backlinks with correct anchor text. Because a lot of times, the natural stuff will just have Dick's Sporting Goods and the URL. And you do want to be careful. Here's a pretty high distribution. So 30% of their links actually mention kayaks itself. You have to be careful with that sometimes. Normally we go with diversifying. So it might be touring kayak, new kayak, amazing kayak, adding some kind of differentiator to that text so that you're not just using kayaks 14 times. But most likely this is the type of content and backlinks that they built towards the page. And all of that has allowed them to rank this kayaks page effectively with just a little bit of SEO magic. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Let me know any questions, any thoughts, or anything you've noticed in ecom SEO or in this website that I missed. Give it a like and a subscribe if you're interested in more breakdowns of SEO strategies and all kinds of stuff like this. So thank you so much for your time. You have a great rest of your day.